A German grandma scammed me, and I'm going to tell you how it happened. So I was living in my apartment in Germany, which was like a guest house to my landlord. They were so sweet. We used to have tea together, some coffee and cake. And one day they invited me over to have some coffee. While we are having that coffee, they informed me that they are selling the house, which means the house will have new owners who will have to decide if they want to keep me in their guest house or not. So I decided to look for a new apartment. Where I live at the time, it was really difficult to find new apartment, and I couldn't really find something that fits me. So I visited that one apartment, and it was so pretty. I fell in love instantly. There was so much people. I didn't think that they would call me back, but they did. I get the apartment, and my landlord was an old lady. She didn't really have time to do all those stuff, so her daughter was the one I was mainly in contact with. She told me I got the apartment. She said she would be happy to have a new nice neighbor. So I wonder where that daughter was living, but never mind. I just want the apartment. Give me the keys. I went to the old lady's house. I'll call her Granny. So I went to Granny's house. I signed the contract. She wanted me to pay the deposit in cash, which is actually not unusual in Germany. Like, older people like to have their payment in cash, and I already paid deposits like this and never had any issue with this. So I paid the deposit. She gave me the contract. She was paralyzed. She couldn't write. She couldn't stand. She couldn't walk. So she said her daughter would give me the receipt and the keys. I met the daughter, and she gave me the keys and she gave me the receipt. After receiving the keys, I get into my apartment, start moving in and stuff. One day, Granny will call me and tell me that someone told me that I was living with my boyfriend. It was totally false. He just was there to help me to move in. He was living in a different city at the time, and he would just be over to help me. Try to find out who actually lied about me like this. She won't answer. She said, well, if he's living there, he will have to pay more fees, which will be right if he was living there actually, and he was not. I just understood that it was her daughter, because guess what? Her daughter was living just across my apartment, and she had a view inside my home. So I told her, please tell that person who told you that is not true, and I don't want anyone to report anything about my life, and I don't want to sue anybody. My boyfriend is allowed to visit me as much as he wants to, and it's nobody's business. I never got a call regarding my boyfriend or anyone ever again. The other thing was, when I signed the contract, I was supposed to have a kitchen built in, which I will be able to use, and when I moved in, the kitchen wasn't there yet. They said they was sent the wrong items and they couldn't build the kitchen. Afterwards, they said there was some delay. I think I spent 1 month without any kitchen, and after that 1 month, the daughter of Granny, which I'll call Witch, said her husband will install the kitchen. At that time, I didn't care anymore because I had spent so much money into eating outside. I just wanted the kitchen at that point. So he installed the kitchen, and when he installed it, you could see that it wasn't professionally made. It wasn't straight. And I told them that from the beginning. They were like, yeah, whatever, we don't mind if you don't mind. I was like, okay, right, I don't mind. From there, everything was fine, almost fine. I was living there for a couple of months when I noticed that my Amazon orders got stolen. When my first Amazon order disappeared, I did not think much about it. I just told Amazon, hey, I didn't receive the package, please send a new one, and they did without me paying anything extra. But then it happened a second time, and then a third time. Each time it said that I signed the paper, that I was actually there and that I received it, which was actually wrong. I wasn't there. So I talked to Witch about it, and Witch said that it happened like 5 years ago, but I didn't have it in a while. But she told me who she was suspect of stealing my things. She said she was sorry, that it's not supposed to happen, and that she hopes it will not happen again. But guess what? It did happen again. I filed a complaint about it, and I told her, if you hear anything about it, know that it's me. And you know what? They stopped disappearing. I don't like judging people for no reasons, but my instinct was like screaming that something's not right, and I wanted to move out. But when I thought about the stress of moving out and everything, I was like, okay, fine, just deal with it for a moment, which I did. I lived my best life in my apartment. One day I was at home, and Witch come over. She has 2 pieces of cake in her hand, and she's like, yeah, hey, it's my birthday. I wanted to celebrate with my nice neighbor. You can give the other piece to your boyfriend. I was like, I already told you my boyfriend doesn't live here, right? He does not live here. So she was like, yeah, whatever. I just want to have it with you. You are such a nice neighbor. And she gave it to me, and she just went back to her home. Something was just not sitting right with me. Like, you're not my best friend. We are not friends. We are neighbors. And in Germany, you just don't share your joy like that with everyone. I put it in the fridge, and I decided to go grocery. While going to grocery, I saw her in her car, and the way she greeted me gave me chills. It gave me big get out vibes, right? You know, she was so happy to see me, which was normally not the case. She'll be cordial, she'll smile, but it's like she gave me really bad vibes. So when I got back home, I called my boyfriend and I explained him what happened. He said he will not eat it if he was me. He had the same feeling that I had. So I had it in the fridge, but I still decided I wanted to try a tiny bite because it was looking so yummy. I did have like a tiny little bite like this. And I swear I had really bad stomach ache. I was really thinking, is this witch trying to poison me? I kept that cake in the fridge for weeks because I wanted to send it to a labor. And I found out it was 300 euros just to get to know if it's poison or not. I just threw the cake away. I was like, okay, witch, you didn't got me this time. You won't ever have me again. But I'm not spending 300 euros into knowing if you try to poison me or not. I threw it away and I was like, okay, I'm done. I need to move out of here. I found something in my fiance's city and I was ready to move out. I called my landlord. She's not picking the phone. I tried over again for days. She's not picking the phone. And I called Witch. That's when Witch told me that Granny passed away. I said, oh my God, I'm sorry about it. Sorry for your loss. Are you at home? She said she was at home. So I went over. I bought her some flowers. And I told her how sorry I was and I gave her the flowers. She asked me if she could give me a hug. I said, yes, you can. So she hugged me for a couple of seconds and then she went back home. She later asked me why I was calling. I said, yeah, I found something else. I need to move out. Can I please move out? I've already sent a letter, but I wanted to tell you that personally, I would like to move out before the 3 months of delay that I have. Is it possible? She told me she's not the one responsible for that anymore, that her brother is the one responsible for that and that I should handle that with him directly. Everything I had to do regarding that apartment from day one have always been through Rich. So where is this brother coming from and why all of a sudden do I have to deal with him? I contact the brother. It's like, yeah, if you find someone else who can pay for you those 3 months, then there is no issue. I'm like, okay, fine, let me find someone to stay here and pay for the rent. In the meantime, I have already signed a contract in the other city, so I already started packing my things. I found some interesting profiles. I had some engineers, people working at Posh. I had a Word file where I wrote everything down and I sent it to him. He was like, yeah, the profile looks interesting. I need to meet them. I organized a meeting. They came to my place. He was there. They had a chat a little bit. The people interested in the apartment went away and he was the only one there. I would like, as I said, to give up the apartment earlier. He was like, we can do the painting for you. I did it for the apartment upstairs and it costed 4,000 euros. That's the moment I knew that man would want to scam me out of any money he could. I was like, yeah, no, we'll paint it with my boyfriend. We'll clean everything and it should be fine. He also noticed that a button was broken and he said, yeah, I can repair it for you. You just have to give me 150 euros. I was like, what? I will call a friend of mine, we'll do it on a Sunday. That's why you have to give me that amount of money. I was just thinking about my deposit and about moving out earlier. So I was like, okay, fine. If you want to do that, just do that. Days went by and I was expecting him to tell me about the profile he received, right? I've been waiting, no news. I asked him, he was wasting time. He was giving excuses. It took like 3-4 weeks to tell me that he's not okay with the profile, which means I had to pay 2 rents in that month. I was like, okay, well, let me find other profiles. He was not fully satisfied with the profiles I sent him. He was like, well, you know what, in the meantime I found someone, just let me have a talk with the city as the city is supposed to pay your rent and I'll come back to you. Guess what, I also paid 2 rents that month. At that time we had a total loss of 2,000 euros. We have an appointment and I paint the apartment, I clean everything and I want to give up the house to him. He comes and he says that he's not satisfied. He shows places where it could have been done better, where it's not properly done in his opinion, and he say it will have to be done again. Now he offers again to do it himself. I just have to pay. I was again like, no, I will do it myself. So I do it myself again. We have an appointment. He doesn't live near and at that time I already moved out. We couldn't find an appointment where both of us will be there. So what I did is I cleaned everything. We painted again and I left the keys in Witch's box mail. And he would get it from her on the next day and check. That's exactly what he did, right? And then he told me the same thing. He was not satisfied with how it looked. At that time I was like, okay, look, I already lost around 2,500 euros. I don't have my deposit back, and you're going to tell me you're not satisfied with the painting and I will have to pay another month of rent. I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing that no more. I said, no, I will not paint it again, and I need my deposit back. Also, the third month, yeah, I'm not paying for that either, so send me my money. He was like, what deposit are you talking about? I said, the deposit I gave to your mother. He said, where did you send the money to? I said, I gave it cash to your mother and I have the receipt. He was like, what receipt do you have? Can I see the receipt? I checked into my receipts to send him, and guess what? Granny did not sign the paper. Granny did not sign that she received the money. When I looked at the receipt I received from Which, she did not mention the amount of the deposit either, so there was no trace of me giving those people any deposit at all. Even though Which was involved in every step, I could not prove I gave a deposit. That made me really mad. Mad about myself, but mad about them because I knew that they would not want to give me my deposit back. But I noticed that there were no written trace of the deposit. I wrote Which a message. I was like, yeah, hey Which, why is your brother saying that I didn't have any deposit? You know I have a deposit, right? Can you please tell your brother that I gave a deposit and that he should give it back to me? She was like, if what you're saying is true, then you can prove it, right? Excuse me? You were there from the beginning, so what you mean? You know damn well I gave a deposit, so please tell your brother to give me my money back. That woman never answered my calls or my texts ever again. It was like she never knew me. At that time, I felt like I was in Get Out. It was not just the grandma, it was like Granny, Witch, and Witcher working together to scam people, not only from the deposit, but from the deposit and worse, depending on how naive you were. I was so shocked. Like, I did not expect that to happen. I was shocked, I was frustrated, and at the same time, I lost my job due to a Karen, but that's another story. Some friendships which were really important to me, and I had to go through that at the same time. I couldn't really realize how evil these people were and why they would be so evil, but looks like people don't have any reason to be evil, right? He said he didn't have any deposit. He said the apartment was trash, which was not right. I have pictures, I still have videos because I was documenting everything. Because your girl was planning to take a lawyer. I have a lot of insurances just to protect myself, just in case. And I thought I will use my insurance to get a lawyer to get my money back, because at that time, if I add the 2,500 to the deposit, it was around 3,500 euros lost because of them. So I called my insurance and I was like, hey, this is actually happening to me. Those people are trying to scam me. They are causing me emotional distress. I don't know how to handle them. I want to sue them. What am I supposed to do? They were like, yeah, you are absolutely right. That's not how it should be handled. You painting the apartment twice is already nice enough. Let me check if I can find you a lawyer and we will fix that ASAP. I was so happy. And then he was like, oh, excuse me, ma'am, but your insurance doesn't cover house matters. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, unfortunately, you chose everything beside covering home issues. I had to check, and he was totally right. I wouldn't get my insurance to pay a lawyer, and if I wanted a lawyer, I will have to pay it myself. I tried to contact lawyers, and regarding the amount of money that I was claiming, they said it won't be helpful for me to get to them, but I will not leave it like that, right? I decided I would try other ways, and I know there are some institutions who help you in such cases. So I went to one and I asked them if they could help me. To know if we can help you, you first have to pay. The amount was not a lot, so I thought, okay, fine. It was 80 euros or something like that. I paid it. And when I paid it, they was like, yeah, we can just send them later. We cannot represent you on court. And I was so frustrated. I was like, why will you make me pay that amount of money if you know damn well you won't be able to represent me in court? That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to have them in court and have them in my face telling me that I didn't spend money. I already planned to bring my previous landlords to testify for me because I am not a thief. I'm not a liar. I paid my things. I'm respectful. But due to those circumstances, I couldn't really sue them. The institution told me the only thing they could do is write letters. So they wrote them letters stating the emotional damage that they were causing to me and asking for my deposit. He said he didn't have any deposit from me. He said that I damaged the house. He said that I damaged the floor. He said that I did not paint anything. And he asked for me to pay for all those things and also to pay for his lawyers. Like, the audacity was here. And it went by like for weeks. Every new letter I would receive, there was a new lie in there. And we are in Germany. Even if we go to court, I am black. The chances that someone believes what I say are really, really low. First of all, I'm black. Secondly, they have been in this business for years, so they know it better than me, and me coming with my emotions will not have helped my case. Our lawyers have been writing for a while, and at some point my lawyer is like, yeah, you won't get anything from him. I will not continue to write them, and I would just stop there. I was like, absolutely not, absolutely not. You write them again and nothing will come out of those people. I won't get my money from them. At one point I was drained. I was really tired, physically, emotionally, and I just wanted to close that up, to have my peace. So I told my lawyer, who could just write letters, to write for an agreement. We proposed the agreement that they don't owe me nothing, but also that I didn't owe them nothing, that I don't owe them any money for any damage they're claiming, and that they will never ever ask me for anything. They don't like peace, and they have lawyers and whatever, and I just have myself. We sent that agreement and they accepted it right away. They didn't want to claim anything no more, and they just agreed to everything in that settlement. I lost around 3,500 euros. I also lost faith in humanity, and at the same time I had to deal with the Karen I had to deal with the Karen making me lose my job. But yeah, that's how a German granny and her whole family decided to scam me. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story time, and yeah, follow for more.